Yeah, for sure. It's interesting economic climate, but I definitely want to talk about Bitcoin though too
Hmm.
before we get into the Nvidia talk in detail. Bitcoin. So interesting.
Hmm.
$92,000 right now, and it's been dropping steadily. So just passed the death cross 2 days ago, I
Mhm.
Yep.
think. So Bitcoin is interesting if you really think about it because it's the only investment that we actually know what's going to happen.
Tell me more.
Oh, because it has like if you follow history of the Bitcoin, it has 4 year cycles, right? So you can as an exercise, anybody at home, you can ask ChatGPT the 4 year cycles of Bitcoin, when the next bear market will come, previous bear market. So it works in cycles. Now, anything can happen in the future, but it's always repeated the same cycle.
Hmm.
Like no other investment has ever done that. Like you can't say, okay, we know that Nvidia is gonna do good for 4 years and it's gonna be flat for 2 years and it's gonna spike. We know that Bitcoin works in a 4 year cycle. It drops very drastically, almost 70 to 80% previously. That's what it has done. Um, Follows the halving. So like even if you follow it, like the bear market is supposed to start next year. But some say the bear market has already started, which would be an early start. But it was going to start. There's a almost 100% chance that Bitcoin is going to drop drastically next year if you follow what historically has happened. So everybody knows. Well, if you study, everybody knows that that Bitcoin is going to drop. Like that's kind of like a cheat code almost, if you really think about it, because we know what's going to happen. Now the variables is exactly when it will drop, exactly how much it will drop.
I can tell you that, but we a team. Come on.
So
Maybe next week.
so now the question is like, okay, is this the start of the or are we already in the bear market, or is this a short term reset and then we're going to push higher at the end of the year and then next year it's going to fall, but it's going to fall. And I asked ChatGPT just to kind of get ChatGPT's perspective on it, and like how it's supposed to fall following traditional bitcoins is it's supposed to go to 30 or 40,000 because that's 70 to 75% drop. That's what it has done historically, but most people don't think that it'll fall that far because of institutional backing now that it didn't have before.
Hmm.
So the institutional backing up will have it around 50, 60,000. What it'll drop to. But no matter what, how you look at it, it's gonna drop. But it's already been dropping. So now everybody, it's a panic because it's down pretty heavily. And then all the Bitcoin related stocks, we'll talk about that, MicroStrategy and a few others. Those are down. And then of course, since Bitcoin is down, the ETFs are down. And then whenever Bitcoin goes down, then the altcoin market goes down also. So the altcoins are down, XRP and Solana and all of that. So now the main question is now we know that Bitcoin is going to have a bear market.
Hmm.
Is this the bear market? Because if this is the bear market, then the intelligent thing to do would just be to wait. Because if it's the bear market, 90,000 is not a good price to buy because it's going to go lower than 90,000. So do we? So the only question now is: are we in a bear market? And if we are in a bear market, and bear markets for crypto usually last. That's another thing. We know how long the bear market lasts: 12 to 18 months. So it's not a short. It's not a short run. Once the bear market hits, we're looking at like 2027, end of 2027 for a full recover to all time high. But another thing that we do know about Bitcoin is that it always goes up. So
Oh, history has shown us that.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we know that in 2028 and 2029 is going to be higher than what it is now. But all of these things lead to a pessimistic outlook for Bitcoin for the next foreseeable future, unless we get an end of year pump, and that could potentially change it for the short term. So are we going to get an end of year pump, or are we just got to just ride this out for to 2027?
Um, I'll answer both. Meek Mill, Rick Ross, one of my favorite songs. Don't panic. Don't panic. Now's not the time to panic. The notional value or like true value of what we could get back to the April lows of like 77,453 last month. I did tell you we was going to slide into these 90s. Now is not the time to panic. I understand there's a lot of people who are saying the 30 and 40,000 price range for Bitcoin. Remember last year or early this year, I said Michael Saylor needs to be very careful because the only thing that I think would drive that price that low is if they want to get him out of that seat that he's in. I think that he has a plan to thwart that regardless, but I don't think we'll get to 30s or 40s. Should you pick up some at 77 and some change? Yes. Prices are in Stock Club. Worst case scenario, I have us going to
say it.
50.
Nah, I'll say my number
range?
and then you agree.
50.
I'll see you with the hoop. 53s.
I had it at 63 to 67.
Yeah, 53, 524. Worst
So
case
you're going lower than that.
But and here's the thing, as an investor, I'm not saying absolutely will go to for those, you know what I mean? But please write this down. You want to assume the worst case basis first, not the best case. A lot of you are panicking because you bought it last week or 2 weeks ago. You should have bought the majority in April. And in addition, with the halving cycles, some want to be the preeminent force in crypto because they've seen his plan work. I kept saying, I hope that he doesn't become the new Kathy Wood. But when the institution, going back to the program conversation, when they want the strategy and the IP to use it for their own devices, they're going to find a way to do so. Also, too, if we're going to have a cyclical downturn and now we're back to risk on, maybe there will be some flushing out. But I want to be very clear. It's a mistake if you are a believer in it to get rid of it now. Too many people ask, should I sell what I have now and wait to get in, continue to buy? Now, the mistake that I think Saylor made is that he kept buying at any price. The price where you buy an asset matters a hell of a lot. But worst case scenarios, 53. But if you believe in it, we can have a nice bump. And I think at the right price, definitely at 50s and at 65, the institutional, the Saudi fund, it's too many big players that will absorb the coins at that price.
Yeah, that's why I said I was looking at the charts yesterday. I had it around 67. Yeah, I mean, if you, I'll use the phrase that history shows us rather than kind of what you were saying that we know, because somebody was like, oh, history has shown us that in these cycles, specifically what Shadi was saying, it was like there's 4 phases right now. Based on everything we've seen, that we're in phase 3. And so here's some things, some key indicators that you should find in phase 3, which is like 6 to 18 months after halving, like we saw halving happen last April. So we're right mid cycle, sharp corrections. And I don't know if we've had a sharp one yet. It just feels like a pullback, but consolidation is that next piece. And so that means you'll start to see it move sideways, right? So if it's at 80,
it's definitely sharp. It's 30% drop.
Well, we've seen steep. I'm saying for crypto, we've seen that go down to 70%.
Well, correction is not 70%. That's a fall. That's a collapse.
Well, it's if it's in the definition of correction, it's even still consolidate.
70% is a collapse, though.
Yeah, that's not correction. That's a collapse.
But that's what I'm saying. We can't even use collapse in terms of Bitcoin because
that's what it does. Because the correction it's in correction mode right now.
When I'm saying correction, I don't want to confuse it when we're talking stocks, right? Because Bitcoin, the way that it moves, its volatility is very different. So that correct, it could be a 70% correction. Like it could happen. Whereas if we said that for a stock, and this stock is about to die,
70% correction is crazy.
But we've seen this happen multiple times, right? So we got consolidation, declining hype, which we'll see.
Shadi, right? I feel you though.
That's a hell of a correction.
Discouragement on social media. Like these are the signs that you'll see. I think what's different about this and why I don't know if it gets down to 50 is because of the political environment that we have, the pro crypto legislation that has been coming forth, and you're starting to see the global response to it. Right now, countries are looking at how we can use this to our advantage. You're starting to see institutions, JP Morgan, obviously, they're talking about state. The environment around institutional and political is a lot different than it has been in the past. So that case doesn't, I don't see it having the harsh 70% pullback. That's why I said the 67 is kind of that range if it does. But if it's something you believe in, you stay.
The only exception is if we hit global recession end of next year.
Or political, or because there's going to be midterm elections. So there could be harsh political, because this is the thing too. You got to look at it from a pessimistic standpoint. Bitcoin's going to go up over the course of time.
Absolutely.
From a pessimistic standpoint, from a short-term perspective, this is the most pro-crypto government that we've ever seen. And it's on a 30% pullback currently. So nothing that the administration can do, nothing that the administration has done or can do is going, like, Bitcoin just moves on its own accord. And institutions, that's why they get in and they get out. Now, going against all logic when it comes to investing, I think Bitcoin is an asset that you don't necessarily have to hold it long term.
Okay, I hear. Talk to me.
Because you know what's going to happen if you follow the history of it. So, like, Half Man, Half Amazing, I think that's his name on Instagram. He was like on YouTube. He said, "Well, y'all said to buy it." Well, the thing is, if you buy it, if you bought it at 80,000 and then it went up to 123,000, it was a 50%. You made 50% of your money. Now, if you know that it's going to drop, you have one or two options. Just wait it out and then let it come all the way back down and even less, and just hold, and then just dollar cost down as you believe in it, because it's going to go back up eventually. It's going to be $200,000 eventually, right? If you want to be a little bit more risky, you can play the profit game, take the profit, wait on the sideline, wait for it to come down, buy when it's low, and then just keep doing it, because you could literally just, that's what whales do. That's what BlackRock does. Like, if you really want to be honest,
most people don't have that discipline though.
They don't have the discipline, and that's why I'm not advising people
to do that. Thank you. Hello.
But if you are going to do that, Bitcoin is the perfect asset to do that, because, like I said, there's actually a roadmap to follow to do that. I'm not telling you to do that, but if there was any asset in the world where I would do that, it would be Bitcoin.
My stance, my final thought on this: hold for 7 years. Every asset that matters. If we're in 25, hold to 32, you will be a-okay. Too much panic, because even if it falls 60%, the upside, you're going to be sick missing out on 600%. True, same for stocks. Even if we hit a 2-year period where the market is flat or negative, those are 2 years when you can build an incredible base to get 5 or 6 or 7,000 shares if you play your cards right. And in 2028, 29, and 30, you will be a-okay. You can be Habibi with us in Dubai.
What you're saying is the most responsible thing to say. And it's the correct thing for 95% of the population.
Are you talking about to the bag getters? Gotcha.
But you also understand that where you buy is extremely important and can determine a tremendous difference in your percent gain.
And if you want to know the best prices where to get in, go to ianinvest.com and join the stock club. Perfect, alley. Thank you. I saw that.
I just be mindful of saying that we know what it is going to do.
History.
Thank you.
I do.
But until it deviates, right? Because,
but it
hasn't done it yet, but it's still a short history, right? So this isn't like the S&P, right, where or the Dow, where we track this for 85 years or over 100 years. This is 15 years.
Even 100 years is a relatively short period of time.
That's what I'm saying. Well, we have a better data set when we talk about over 100 years as opposed to 15 years, and it's so new, and we don't know. Like you said, like the political climate, it's just a lot of factors that we don't know. Institutional is in it. We don't know who the whales are, but history has shown us that it does have a pattern that we can follow. I'll say that.
Can I
Ian, you have your hand raised.
But we do know the historical patterns of the firms that have been around for 100 years.
That's true. That's true.
So I like how we talking like it's just us in Dubai. We know. So if you go look at, act as a world-class investor, do it in Claude Pro preferably. What are the historical buying levels and holding cycles for Citadel, Piper, Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, Fidelity, Invesco? That'll help give you an insight how long they'll hold, how many coins they'll pick up. Because a fund, and we're in the war games of investing, which I love. Everyone wants highest return. Now it's Bitcoin and prediction markets, because now the economy is contracting so much that everything is an option at this point, no pun intended. So you're going to now even see at some point hedge funds ramp up the futures and options integration in addition to sports betting at some point with the prediction market cycles, because they have to get higher return So if you know what the historical patterns and how long and seasonality and when they're going to hold, it'll give you an idea for what's going to happen. But remember, I said 3 years ago this is going to happen, and everyone called me crazy.
There was an article today that it's funny you brought options. They said that MicroStrategy is the option for Bitcoin with no expiration date.
Michael Saylor, I pray that your relationship with Jared and Trump is okay. Also, too, if you go read them emails, you can kind of see the foundation of
Release them.
I love this show live. Oh, Shotty, you cooking? And I'll see you've been studying. You call that 50 ball easy. I'll see you.
The 50 ball.
The
50 ball. Hit the like
button
and share. Please.